And so it begins, E-Leapsters. Here we are at the outset of the semester, and you've just been assigned a major, major research project. Dun, dun, dun! Don't panic, don't worry. I am totally here to help as your librarian. But do keep in mind that this research project is worth like 60% of your grade. Something to take seriously, right? Anyhow, here you are, you've got this major research project at your feet. What are you going to do? Let's talk about the basic research process, and I'm going to help you sort of sculpt your research process this semester so that it's quite streamlined by the end of, 2 semesters worth of research. You'll be a pro. Anyway, here's the basic research process. The first step, you're going to pick a topic. In this case, your team is going to pick a topic, and the theme for the research this semester is sustainable technologies. So your team's going to pick a sustainable technology and learn about it, how it works, its history, what the social implications are, that kind of thing. And that means you're going to have to find information about it. Oh boy. Then you're going to present as a team to your classmates about this topic. You're going to organize all the information that you've found, synthesize it, and present it. And that's it. Ta-da! You're done with the big scary research project. Hooray! But, okay, not quite so fast. Let's revisit one of those 3 steps. The second step, finding information. Where are you going to go? If you're like most people, myself included, you're going to go to Google, because Google is like the seat of all information, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Google. Google, well, here's the thing. Google's the open web, essentially, right? It's a big search engine that searches all of the open web, and really, that's a lot of information, and it comes from everywhere, like news sources, educational sources, independent nonprofit organizations, dudes who are blogging, like it comes from all over the place. So I would like you to think of the open web via Google as a pile of crap. No, I'm totally kidding. It's not a pile of crap. CRAAP, in this case, is an acronym. A misspelled acronym, I guess. And it's also, as an acronym, it's this really memorable, funny, easy test that you can use to determine if the information that you found is good, valid, legit information. We have the librarians at the University of California, California State University at Chico to thank for it. So thank you, lovely librarians. This is a really cool test. Are you guys ready? Let's get into the CRAAP test, a test which will help you eliminate crap. The first criterion in the acronym is C for currency. And currency just means the timeliness of the information. Here are some good clarifying questions that help you to map out what that even means. When was the information published or posted? Has it been revised or updated since it was initially published or posted? Does your topic require current information, or would older sources be okay too? For your topic, I am going to wager that you're going to want to find the very most current info that you can, because you're learning about technology, and technology is one of those rapidly changing things. So, for example, say you're researching nuclear power as a sustainable technology. Nuclear power, as it was written about in the 70s, was very, very different than nuclear power that is written about in 2011. So, things to consider. On the other hand, say you've got this other class, and you're writing a paper for it about some book from the 19th century. It's not really going to matter so much how current the criticism on that book is. right? So sometimes older sources do work. And even for this project, you'll want to establish some kind of historical context. So, yeah, that question is not as simple as it seems. Okay, the next criterion is R for relevance. Relevance is the importance of the information for your needs. That's kind of busily worded, right? Let's figure out what that's all about. Does the information answer your research question? Is it even related to your topic? This happens a lot in undergraduate classes where people are assigned a research project and they must have like 15 scholarly sources of information. So they do a Google search or Google Scholar search and they grab the first 15 articles, but they've done a really broad search, so some of it's kind of related, barely hanging on by a thread, sort of related. Yeah, we don't want that stuff. We want information that's pretty directed at your focused research question. Who is the intended audience? Is it you? Is it a junior high student? Is it a 5-year-old? Yeah, you don't want information written for 5-year-olds, right? This is university level research, so consider how simple or advanced the information is for your needs. And take a look at a bunch of other sources to determine, do you want to use this one? Do you want to use another one? Source can mean article, website, whatever. Take a look at a lot of other information sources, though, before you go, yeah, this is what I want. Easy, right? The next criterion is A for authority, and authority refers to the source of the information. Who is the author or publisher or sponsor? Basically, who created the information? Is the author somebody you would consider an expert? You can really establish expertise by looking at the author's credentials. Say you're looking at some engineering publication and it's written by a professional engineer. That means that engineer has certification, right? And probably a couple, one or two, maybe, advanced degrees. And also belongs, I'm sure, to some professional organization. So consider the organizational affiliations of the author too. And in most scholarly works, you'll get like an author blurb that tells you all of that stuff. So it's really a lot easier than you would expect to find. If you can't find it though, hey, thank goodness for the open web, because then you can find contact information, whether it's the author's email address or publisher's email or a phone number. Call and ask. There's no harm in doing that. And I think in this information age, it's pretty normal. Also, what does the URL extension tell you? Is it a .com, .edu, .gov, .org, .net? The only things that, or the only extension that's really tightly regulated is .gov. Even .edu can be a little sketchy sometimes. Consider that most universities give all of their students, faculty, and staff free web space so they can do whatever they want on it. So a personal blog on a university website is not legitimate information. It's probably going to be pretty opinion-based, right? Oh, the other thing, .org doesn't mean like a nonprofit organization anymore. Even commercial organizations can have .orgs, .nets, .coms, all of those things. So really be wary of where the URL is coming from. So a couple more bullet points to cover. Moving on to the second A, which is for accuracy, meaning the reliability, truthfulness, and correctness of the content. Where does the information come from? Is it evidence-based? I hope so. Look for a bibliography, you guys. Academic sources have bibliographies like 100% of the time. There you go. Is it peer-reviewed? Peer-reviewed means that the author's peers, i.e. colleagues, have in some anonymous process, evaluated the quality of the research and the quality of the content. Peer-reviewed is often referred to as refereed, and things like newspaper articles, they're not peer-reviewed. Only academic stuff is peer-reviewed. Can you find other sources to validate the information? We came upon this question earlier when we were looking at relevance. So since you're already going to be looking at other sources, make sure that they're echoing the content of whatever source you're considering using. And are there cosmetic errors, things like typos, spelling errors, grammar issues? Man, if somebody can't take the time to run a spell check, I don't even want to look at that source. And the last criterion is purpose. What's the reason for the information existing? Is the purpose stated? Most academic publications will have a little purpose statement right at the beginning, so that's an easy question to answer. Is it fact-based? Would you call the information objective, impartial? I hope so. We want to avoid things like biases, and they span some distance. Political, ideological, cultural, religious, institutional, and personal biases. Stay away from that stuff. It's propaganda. That sounds kind of alarmist, but it's true. You don't want stuff that's opinion-based. You want facts. You're engineers, right? Stick to the facts. And that's it. Once you run through all of those questions and get suitable answers, I know it's kind of a long list of questions, but they're really good and they're all kind of related and they're easy. Once you do it a few times, and I'm going to ask you to do it for all of the sources that you cite in each step of your research project, yeah, it'll become pretty natural. So you don't want any information, you want valid, accurate, awesome information, because that means your research is awesome. And that's it. You run that test, you get the answers that you like, and you're done. Hoo-wee! Congratulations.